The late 2000s and the early 2010s, in my opinion, was the best era for monster movies. I feel like during this time, literally every single niche was represented in some type of way. I feel like it's not crazy to say that this was like the peak of like zombies and vampires and werewolves in terms of like pop culture. I remember for me during this time, I used to see zombies in particular everywhere. Video games, TV shows, movies. I don't think there was any medium that didn't have a zombie in it. And I remember around season 3 of The Walking Dead, I started tuning into it with my mom like every Sunday. Up until season 7 where they killed my boy. This shit killed me as a kid, bruh. But my time watching this show with my mom made me a super fan of The Walking Dead. I remember I watched all my favorite YouTubers play the Telltale games multiple times. I even had the really shitty PS3 game that starred Daryl Dixon. And like, I know I probably wouldn't enjoy it now, but back then, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was heat. And of course, since I enjoyed The Walking Dead so much, I would eventually experience other zombie media. And one of the movies from this time I remember the most fondly is Zombieland. It's been so long since I've seen this movie, but I remember it being one of my favorite takes on the zombie genre. Especially since as a kid, I had to like put a limit on myself for how much zombie whatever I could experience at the time. Because most of it is gray and depressing, which is obvious because, you know, it's an apocalypse. But I feel like the movie's comedic tone really made it easy to rewatch throughout the years. So today I wanted to cover this movie and talk about my thoughts about it, my love for zombie media in general, and some of the behind the scenes on how it was made and all that. So sit back, relax, maybe drop a subscription for your boy, like the video. Grab your smoking device of your choice, and for the next however long, we're going to be talking about the 2009 Zombieland movie.
POSTMODERN.
The Zombieland we know today started out as a TV pilot. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick originally designed the script to end around when the girls first robbed Tallahassee and Columbus. It never ended selling as a TV pilot though, which I think really sucks. It would have been cool to see the show run as like a complete tonal antithesis to like The Walking Dead. And yes, I know Zombieland would have came out first. But I don't know, I just think it would have been really cool to see two shows with like completely different vibes run alongside each other. But thanks to one of the producers, Gavin Pallone, the script ended up being adapted into a low-budget feature. And thus, it was rewritten to be what we know it as today. The movie stars Jesse Eisenberg as Columbus. Him and Michael Cera have always been some of my favorite actors. When I was younger, I was very much like a lot of the characters they played, so I just always related to them. He also does like all of the narration in this movie, which has always been one of my favorite parts of it. The movie opens with him introducing the state of the world. The United States has been overrun with zombies and most of the world has been taken out. Only a few survive, and Columbus gives us a list of his rules that help him stay alive. The first rule of Zombieland is that you have to have cardio. These zombies aren't anything like the Walking Dead zombies, and they run at full speed. I've always personally enjoyed running zombies a lot more because they've always just felt more realistic to me. The second rule, and the most iconic, is the double tap. Although these zombies aren't as hard to kill as other zombies, you do still have to put a little bit of effort into killing them. This is also to prevent that very stereotypical horror movie moment where you think somebody's dead and they actually aren't. The third rule is beware of bathrooms, which honestly I think makes a lot of sense on this list. I don't think anyone wants to get killed in the public bathroom. The fourth rule on the list is beware of seatbelts. When I first watched this movie for the first time with my dad when I was younger, I remember this scene being a lot more scarier. But nah, bro, this ain't funny as hell. Like, look at them rolling, bro. After the intro, we see Columbus at a gas station. From here, we kind of get like a replay back of all the rules we just went over in the intro, and he gets attacked by zombies. It's so funny to me how he starts training them like he's in COD or something. Like, come on, bro, you can't tell me this isn't the COD move. Like, look, he does fuck up his car dealing with them though, and is forced to hitchhike. We fast forward a little later and we get a scene of Columbus walking through an abandoned highway. After a while of traversing the completely empty highway, he eventually does see another person. And after a weirdly American standoff, we get a better sense of what the story structure is going to look like. Zombieland is low-key a road trip movie. And I'm not gonna lie, this is my least favorite Hollywood movie trope. Just because I feel like most of these movies are really generic and don't really do anything to break the formula. Lucky for Zombieland though, it has pretty good writing and ends up being a really good story. The guy who picked up Columbus goes by Tallahassee and is played by Woody Harrelson. He has this really strong obsession with finding Twinkies. And as a kid, I was so pissed off when I finally tried the Twinkie for the first time, and that shit was ass. This movie is propaganda. Also, with these early scenes they have together, we get a pretty good sense of what their relationship is going to be for the rest of this movie. And it's even worse with some of the deleted scenes.
Hey, this bag ain't gonna carry itself.
After they raid the Twinkies truck, we get a flashback of Columbus's first encounter with a zombie. I always love the detail of Columbus being in his apartment alone, oblivious, playing video games as the apocalypse was going down. I'm not gonna lie, this is relatable as hell. This is probably gonna be me if the apocalypse really ever happened. He gets a knock on the door from his hot neighbor next door, who is played by Amber Heard. She's really like shaken up and stuff because she was just attacked by a homeless man outside. And Columbus notices his time to shine, and he starts comforting her kinda shittily, and they eventually fall asleep. And not long later, he wakes up and his neighbor is a zombie. This has to be such a crazy experience off the wake up. After a while of running around, he eventually fights back and wins. I like that in the deleted scenes, we get to see more of Columbus's thoughts and emotions about killing his neighbor. It was honestly kind of bizarre watching the deleted scenes for me, just because I've seen this movie so many times that it's weird to see new scenes. But a lot of them add more context, so I think they're really cool to watch still. Still in search of his Twinkies, Tallahassee and Columbus arrive at an abandoned grocery store. I thought it was really cool the behind the scenes to see how the crew filled the completely empty grocery store with fake products. While a lot of the store is filled with real props placed carefully throughout the store, a decent bit of the store is just cardboard cutouts. They do eventually find a couple fat zombies which they quickly get rid of, and after they have their zombie killing segment, they find the survivor in the store. They go by Wichita and they're played by Emma Stone, one of my favorite actresses. She leads them to the back of the store to help her sister who's infected. But before they can shoot her sister, she suggests that she does it. And this is when it's revealed that she was scamming them. Because before the apocalypse, her and her sister were scam artists. They take their guns, they take their car, and then they leave them for dead. And if it would've got picked up, this is where the pilot would've ended. Stranded and with no car, Tallahassee can't help but let off some steam. They're not down on their luck for long though, because soon after they find a redneck's truck. Something I've noticed with this universe is that there isn't too many zombies or people, but there is an abundance of resources. Which makes sense because this is trying to be more of an escapist fantasy than like a survival, apocalypse, depressing story, you know? While we're on the road, we get a little bit more backstory about Tallahassee and his child, who apparently didn't make it too long into the apocalypse. They see their abandoned hijacked car on the highway and go up to it to investigate. It's another trick, and then now they're taken hostage again. After this event, they start to get to know each other better and eventually even have a bonding moment. They drive all the way to LA where they end up at Bill Murray's mansion. I always loved his cameo in this movie. Like, I grew up on the Ghostbusters movie, so seeing him in this one when I was like 10 or 11 after was really cool. It does suck that Columbus kills him not too long after meeting him though. After this, the group learns more about each other and they even have some more bonding moments, but it's time for our obligatory Hollywood group breakup. One of the biggest reasons I don't really like road trip movies is because I feel like every single one has this exact same plot line. Or literally just any type of like story structure where it's like two characters or a group of characters traveling together. And you know, at the peak of them getting along and having like the somewhat perfect relationship or just a better relationship than what they started with, out of nowhere they start arguing and break up. And we gotta sit through like a bunch of apologies and arguments until they inevitably forgive each other. But the girls decide to leave them and go to an amusement park. I get like it's the apocalypse and you want to have fun and forget about everything that's happening, but an amusement park seems like the worst place to go. And surprise, surprise, as they're having fun, a group of zombies shows up. Lucky for the girls though, Tallahassee and Columbus had tracked them down and they come to their rescue. And this is where we get our end of the movie badass zombie killing segment. And what's interesting about this whole entire like segment of the movie is that it was filmed first. And there wasn't really that much dialogue, so it gave them more time to figure out how the actors wanted to play the characters. The actor for Little Rock, Abigail Breslin, really wanted to be a zombie. It was really cool to see her like go up to the zombie actors in the behind the scenes and like geek out at the makeup. Also, speaking of zombie actors, they filmed this scene in Valdosta, Georgia in 20-degree weather, and the zombie actors are troopers. It was funny because like the actors were complaining about the cold, but like the zombie actors had nothing. Like, they at least got coats and shit. But yeah, Columbus gets his big hero moment, takes down the clown, and saves the girls. And yeah, after this, we get our Hollywood ending. Everyone gets what they want, and then they all walk off into the sunset.
To tell you the truth, I'm worried that you're lonely because of the position I'm in.
My opinion on Zombieland changed a lot throughout my rewatch. At some points, I thought the movie was really corny, but other times I thought it was really charming. All in all, I feel like this movie really works best when you turn your brain off and you just enjoy what's happening on screen. One of the biggest mistakes I made within the first 30 minutes of this movie was trying to take it serious. You see, I thought since I was covering this movie that I would have to be kind of serious and analytical about it. But honestly, it works better when you're not. And trust me, Zombieland does not want you to take it seriously either. I mean, the world is almost set up perfectly in the survivor's favor. Characters find fully fueled cars with entire bags of weapons. Supermarkets are even still stocked for the most part. And death isn't even treated as a super sad thing like it is in other zombie media. I mean, just look at Bill Murray's death scene. I ended this movie loving the escapist fantasy the crew built over the production. One thing I felt rewatching this movie was that it really needed a longer runtime. I think it would have been cool to get at least one more segment with the characters just bonding and becoming closer. I personally feel like this group went from being enemies to practically family way too fast. And that's why I feel like Zombieland would have worked 10 times better as a TV show. Like, imagine if we had more time for the characters to grow their relationships more organically. Who knows, maybe in a perfect universe, we got 10 seasons of a Zombieland TV show. Something else I wanted to mention was the actual zombies. This has to be one of my favorite take on the zombie ever. I love the way they behave, I love the way they look, like literally everything about these zombies is perfect to me. And I've always been interested in like the actual makeup process that goes into making the zombie look too. Like, I don't know, I feel like it would be really cool to like have somebody paint on my face for a while and then getting a look like this. And then seeing the actors in the behind the scenes also gush about the zombies and their makeup was also cool. I feel like they were a really underrated part of this movie, despite the movie being called Zombieland. I think one of my dreams is to one day be able to get to play a zombie in some type of movie. Like, you wouldn't tell me it wouldn't be fun as fuck to get to chase people in zombie cosplay. I haven't seen the sequel to this movie, Double Tap, but honestly from the clips I've seen online, it seems really interesting. I know a lot of sequels that come out years later aren't really that good, but this one honestly looks like it has potential. Who knows, it might be my next video. But yeah, that's Zombieland. Thank you for watching the video if you did make it this far. It's so crazy to me that people actually sit down and like enjoy looking at stuff I made. So I just wanted to say I'm really grateful if you did make it this far. And maybe if you enjoyed the video, consider dropping the subscription for your boy, liking the video, all that jazz. I've gotten a lot of support on these videos so far and I really appreciate it. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bless up.